Welcome to another blog. I was going to do some spraying outside today, but it's far too windy. And the weather forecast for tomorrow is looking a lot better. So we've delayed for 24 hours. So I'm just going to be just blanking off all the threaded holes so the paint doesn't get inside. It's a slow job, and you always miss one or two somewhere, but it can be quite therapeutic in a strange way. And as we're not allowed to go out wandering the streets at the present time due to this coronavirus and the government lockdown, it's not as though I had thousands of places to go and do things. This is the bit I'm working on now, is the headlamp indicator frame that goes on the front forks. That way round, that's the up, and then the speedo sits on top of there and the light sits in the front. You don't have to do this, but there's a lot more work having to tap out all the drilled threaded holes afterwards, and it's much easier just to tap them in like that. This is the front master cylinder. I've already done some of the holes, I'm just doing some more. Well, I'll do some ramblings today, shall we? Many of us are not old enough to remember the war, so we don't realise how easy this is for the lockdown compared to 75, 80 years ago, when not only were we locked down, but people were shooting at us. So we perhaps shouldn't be too angry with what's going on, and just bear with it for a while. But it amazes me how people yesterday in London, in Cambridge and in the southwest were still meeting in parks despite the death toll going up. One would think by now that the message is getting through that we need to try and stop the spread of the virus. It hurts us in the short run, and in the long run we can get out again. If we continue to do as we do, more people are liable to die, and like in some other countries, our lockdown will become far more draconian. But I think some people don't believe that these things are meant for them, it's for everybody else to do. Here in Orkney, of course, we can go to walk on the beach. We'll go for a walk, because the chances of meeting more than one or two people are pretty remote at the best of times. That's another bit just done. Let me just check, because that is the one to my working practice. I always miss one threaded hole somewhere. It's an ability I have got. So we're doing that one. That one, you can see I've just taken the rubber off so we can spray and it won't go in the rubber. These are all, and there's the damper we did yesterday. See, I've just covered the damper rod so that it won't get sprayed. Like a lot of these things, a lot more work in the preparation. The actual spraying doesn't take that long. It's the same with all decorating. And, it's going to be interesting getting that out. Got carried away with that one. But I think that's what always happens. Let me just get this out. You look at somebody spraying in a car workshop and they go, in an hour they've transformed a blank car into this gorgeous looking paint job. The 4 days of prep work beforehand doesn't get pointed into. Nobody knows that existed. And yet that's what makes the spray job good. Let's get that out. The other big thing that's going on, I've seen the non-fact, as they say nowadays. It's the latest way of saying a lie, is that the 5G broadcasting is spreading the virus, which is a load of nonsense, because we've had these viruses before in the past and I've not noticed 5G being then there. It also has nothing to do with large parts of the world who's got the coronavirus, so that I can't see how it fits. But of course, people today like to take bits of the science that they want and ignore the bits they don't like. Hence we get lots of people not liking having vaccinations because they think it's, well, originally it was a doctor who's now been struck off who wanted to link it with autism. And in the end, it's been debunked so many times, but people want to believe it. So, I've got my screwdriver stuck in it. That's it. But it's been debunked so many times, and yet people still keep coming out, and more people die. I'm old enough to remember everybody in the school getting measles. People used to die of measles, mumps. Doesn't happen now, of course, because we have a vaccine. But some people don't believe vaccines, they believe they're just fictional. Until now, when they all want the vaccine to stop themselves dying from coronavirus. People are strange. They take the science they want and believe it, and the stuff they don't like, they say it's rubbish. Like a big knock on the floor, that's a handlebar. So we get people who, it's quite therapeutic this, you know, will not have the vaccine because it doesn't work and they don't believe in science, yet they're quite happy to go and sit and watch television. Or they'll not believe in science, and then we get this disease, and the first thing they want is scientists, which they don't believe in because they can't see how it works, so it doesn't exist. They now want science to produce a vaccine straight away. So I can never figure out why they're selective in which bit of the science they want. They say if they can't see it, it doesn't exist. Yet we can't see how an engine works. Oh. The internal combustion engine is a mystery to most people. You turn the ignition in a car, it starts, but you don't realise actually it's a culmination of hundreds of years of science, developing engines, developing reciprocating methods, designing gearboxes, hardening, electricity. I mean, electricity is a great one for theory. If you look at electricity, you can't, because you can't see electricity. You can feel it. Not that I recommend you feeling it too often. It has a habit of killing lots of people. And yet people still believe in it. Poo sticks, as they say. People believe in electricity because they turn the phone on, that works by electricity. They listen to the telephone, which is powered by electricity. They watch TV, satellite, car. Turn the light switch on. As I said, today is a ramble. I don't intend to set the world alight. I don't want to be too controversial. It does make me wonder how selective people can be with what they want from science. That's another bit done, look. And have I missed a bit? Probably. You can see, oh, it needs a wipe down. There's a bit of stuff. This has been rust treated as well. So all the bits here have had rust treatment. So when I paint them, hopefully it will not become dirty again. In there. So we get the bushes in easier. Oh. Although that one doesn't have a bush in it, it must be on the frame stuff. And it is. There. Yep, that's another one. There's another one here somewhere. Some of these things are not going to be spray painted, but it will probably, this is the collet that slides on here. I was showing on the other video how this worked. So your spring goes over here, and these two collets, you can see a groove there, and that groove fits into there, like so. These are called collets, and they're kept in that position just by the pressure of the spring, so they can't ping out. So they've got a groove that goes in there and a groove that goes in there, like that. So they're fairly easy, not new science, and that sort of self-centralises the spring. Now this bit here, the more you push up, the more you compress your spring. The more you compress your spring, the stiffer your suspension gets. So if you're heavier, you need a stiffer spring. And to just take that off. So that's there, and you just turn it. It's got two steps. See, that's stiffest. You can see how much further up, so the spring's shorter. And then you slide it down to 1, so that's medium, and that's got the least stiff spring. So it's a pretty rudimentary, old-fashioned way of altering the spring settings. And here, see, it's got Hagen on it. You'll see that this is a toothed collar, and that fits into there, or that way round. By doing that, you can move it. So you need the Hagon tool. Although in my younger days nobody had a Hagon tool, and it was just a big screwdriver and you hit it hard and it pinged around. But you're not supposed to say that. It's a load of waffle, isn't it? But anyway, we'll talk about the garage, the shed and everything else one day, and how it's got to this stage after 40 years of efforts getting all these tools. And we'll talk about some of my philosophies, or lack of them. But for now, we'll leave it as it is. I'm just going to do the frame as I said, and then I'm going to have a cup of coffee. So bye for now, and we'll see you next time.